Hello, welcome to next session. In this session, we will solve GATE 2020 Axis Solid Mechanics paper. Okay. Question 1 to question 9 carry 1 mark each. Question 1. Which among the following statements is true for a body moving on a dry surface under the action of applied forces? Option A, kinetic friction is zero. Option B, kinetic friction force is equal to the static friction force. C, kinetic friction force is greater than static friction force. D, kinetic friction force is lower than static friction force. So answer is your D, because the static friction force reaches its limiting value when the body is just about to move. Okay, and the limiting value, the limiting friction is the maximum friction, uh, uh, is the maximum value of friction. Okay, so the static friction can have the maximum friction value. Okay, or limiting friction value, but when the body start moving, the friction reduces and kinetic friction comes into picture, which is lower than the static or limiting friction. So answer is your D. Static friction force is lower than the kinetic friction force is lower than the static friction force. Okay. Now question number 2. Consider an isotropic material with Young's modulus E and Poisson ratio mu. The bulk modulus of this material is given by, so option are E by 1 minus mu square, B E by 2 bracket 1 plus mu, C E by 3 1 minus 2 mu, D E mu divided by 1 plus mu 1 minus 2 mu. Okay, so the relationship between bulk modulus and the Young's modulus is given as E is equal to 3k 1 minus 2 mu. So k is equal to 3 1 minus 2 mu. Okay, so answer is your C. Okay, so this is your answer. Okay, this is simple E, k and mu relationship. Okay, next, a body subjected to dash does not undergo change in volume. Option A, uniform tension. B, pure shear. C, pure bending. D, hydrostatic force. Okay. In case of pure shear, we have two stresses. Okay. Uh, which is two principal stresses. Okay. Which is equal to the magnitude of the pure shear applied, and one is of tensile nature, that is tau, and other is of compressive nature, that is of tau. Okay. So epsilon 1 is equal to, sorry, so finding out strain in all the three directions. In direction 1, it will be sigma by E plus mu sigma by E. Okay. Similarly, epsilon 2 is minus sigma by E minus mu sigma by E. Okay. And in third direction, it will be 0, because due to this, it will be minus mu sigma by E, and due to this, it will be plus mu sigma by E. So the internal direction epsilon 3 will be 0. So summation of these three, epsilon 1, epsilon 2, and epsilon 3, is equal to 0. Okay, because this is 0 and this is, these are equal, and but opposite in magnitude. Okay, so answer is here 0. So there will be no volumetric change. So in case of pure shear, there will be no change in volume. Okay, only the shear strain will occur. Next, the angular momentum of a particle moving under a central force is option A 0, option B constant in both direction and magnitude, option C constant in magnitude but not in direction, option D constant in direction but not in magnitude. When a central force is being applied, okay, like this, then omega will remain same. It does not have any effect on omega. If omega remains same, then it will remain same, and then the momentum will remain same, or angular momentum will remain same. in both direction and negative, so answer is B. Okay. Next, question number 5. According to Edwards-Bernoulli's beam theory, which one of the following statements best describes the state of a beam subjected to pure bending? Option A, transverse shear stress and transverse shear strain are zero. Option B, transverse shear stress is not zero, but the transverse shear strain is zero. Option C, transverse shear stress is zero, but the transverse shear strain is not zero. Option D, transverse shear stress and transverse shear strain are not zero. When a pure bending is applied, it means there is no shear force. So F is your dn by dx, because F is your dn by dx. Whenever there occurs a change in bending moment, then the shear force occurs. Okay, as there is no shear force, then there will be no shear stress and no shear strain. Okay, so when a pure bending moment is applied, the junction is a transverse section. Before and after bending remains plane. Okay, so this is before bending at this angle 90 degree, and after bending this axis also and this section is perpendicular to the section. So the no angular deformation, so remains plane before and after bending. So it is answer is your A. Okay, both shear stress and shear strain are zero. Okay, transfer shear stress and strain are zero. Okay. A rigid sphere ABCD is subjected to planar forces at corner as shown. Okay, this is P, this is P, and this is also P. Okay, okay, missing. Okay, let us change it. Uh, this is also P. Okay, now so a rigid sphere ABCD is subjected to planar forces at corner shown. So this is P, this is P, and this is P. Okay, all dimensions are A. For this planar force system, the equivalent force coupled system at corner A can be represented as, so this is system A, system 1, A, B, C, D. This is system 2, where P force is implemented here, P downward force and to P bending moment. The moment is P force. Here P upward force and to PA moment. Here P downward force and PA moment. So these are the options 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now we can see that here P and P are equal. So there is no force in horizontal direction and there is one force in vertical direction, that is P, that can be transferred to A. Okay. And with a moment that P into A, that is clockwise moment. Okay. So answer is your B. So P and 2PA moment. Okay. Clockwise. So answer is your B. Okay. Next, a particle of mass 0.1 kg which is released from the rest falls vertically downward under gravity in a fluid. The fluid offers a resistive force which is linearly proportional to the particle velocity with 0.1 Newton second per meter as the constant of proportionality. The uniform gravitational acceleration is 10 meters per second square throughout the trajectory of the particle. The magnitude of the particle velocity in meters per second at time 1 second after release rounded off to two decimal places is now the particle is moving downward, so its weight is acting in downward direction, that is mg, and as it is moving downward, so inertia force is will be acting in upward direction. Okay, and the resistance and this resistance and resistive force which is proportional to this, okay, will be equal to in upward will be equal to this into velocity. Okay, will be acting in upward direction. Okay, so the two forces which are in upward direction are this resistive force, okay, and other is the inertia force, and only weight is active in downward direction. So the force balance will give mg is equal to cv plus ma or mg minus cv is equal to ma. Okay, m is your mass of particles, m is 0.1. Okay, g is your 10. We have to take g 10. Okay, and v is your 1. V is your point 1, okay, sorry, C is your point 1, V is velocity at an instant, okay, and MA is your dv by dt, M dv by dt, okay, M is your point 1, okay. So putting uh, this dt, now uh, separating the variable, taking dt on left side and dv and v in on right side, okay. So we can have just dt is equal to point 0.1 dv divided by 1 minus point 0.1 v. Okay. So the integration is t point 0.1 minus point 0.1 and then 1 minus point 0.1 v. Okay, plus t. Okay. So this is your integration. Okay. Now at time 0, v 0, plus t 0 and c 0. Okay. At time 0, v 0, c 0. Okay. Now at now we have equation this minus 1 ln 1 minus point 0.1 v. Now we have to find out velocity at 1 second after 1 second. So t is equal to 1. Okay. So 1 minus 1 ln 1 minus point 0.1 v. Okay. So L it will be uh, taking ln both sorry taking e inverse ln. Okay. So it will be so we can find out v, that is 6.321 meter per second. Okay, by taking exponential both sides. Okay. Next, the statement of two-dimensional plane stress at a point in a body is shown on the triangular element ABC, where cos theta is equal to 3 by 5 and sin theta is equal to 4 by 5. The normal stress on in MPa on the plane AC is on the plane AC. So this is the normal stress. Okay, in x direction this is y direction, this is shear stress. Okay, now we have to find out the normal stress on this plane. Okay, let sigma theta and tau theta be the normal and shear stress on this plane. Okay, so this we can find out by using first principle. Let the width perpendicular to the figure is 1 unit. So the force is due to this 10 into AC, so 10 into AB, and this 30 into AB, similarly 90 into BC and 30 into BC. And if we are assuming sigma theta and tau theta here, then sigma theta AC, tau theta AC. Okay. Now balancing these forces, so this is your 10 AB, this is your 10 BC, okay, 30 BC, okay, and in vertical direction it is 30 AB and 90 BC, and your sigma theta AC, okay, and tau theta AC, sigma theta AC and tau theta AC, okay. Now this is the force diagram. Okay, now we have to find out sigma theta. Okay, so bring the sigma theta as vertical, sorry, as horizontal component and tau theta as vertical component. So rotate the diagram by theta, then tau theta will come here and these two quantity will come here, and these two quantity will come at angle theta, and this will be horizontal. Okay, the diagram will look like that. Okay, so balancing horizontally will give sigma theta. Okay, now sigma theta AC will be equal to 30 BC plus 10 AB cos theta and 90 BC plus 30 AB sin theta. Okay, so this is sigma theta AC. Okay, now if we divide it by AC, the whole term, then we will BC by AC, then AB by AC, BC by AC, and AB by AC. Okay, so sigma theta And BC by AC is nothing but BC by AC is nothing but sin theta, and AB by AC is nothing but cos theta. So putting this value, we can get sigma theta as 90 MPa. Okay. Next, consider 2 points, masses M 10 kg and capital M 30 kg connected by a massless inextensible string passing over a massless and frictionless pulley with radius A is equal to 100 mm. Pulley A is equal to 100 mm as shown. The masses are released from rest and move vertically under the action of gravity. Let the acceleration due to gravity g is equal to 10 meter per second square. Tension in the string is, let T be the tension in the string. Okay, then as this capital mass is more than this small mass, so this this block will move downward. Okay, so the forces acting on this block is mg downward, T upward, and your ma is inertia for the acting upward. Similarly, the forces acting on this block is mg downward, as it is moving upward. So inertia force will act in downward direction, T in downward direction. Okay, so balancing these forces, if we have mg minus ma is equal to t, or mg minus t is equal to ma. Okay, and from here small mg plus small ma is equal to t. Okay, now putting the value of m is 30 and your uh, m is your 30. Okay, and here the m is uh, 10 and g is your 10. Okay, now from these two equations, uh, finding out solving for a. Okay, this equation can be solved for a, okay, by equating t from both equations. Okay, so we will get a is equal to 5 meter per second square. Now if a is known, we can put in either of these equations and can find out t. So that t is 150 Newton. So this is the fill in the blank question. The answer is 150 Newton. Next, question 10 to question 22 carry 2 marks each. Question 10. The cantilever beam AC is composed of two segments AB and BC that are rigidly connected at B. The fracture rigidity of the segment AB is EI, whereas the fracture rigidity of segment BC is assumed to be infinite. Determine the magnitude of slope due to force F applied at C. So this is A, this is B, and this is force. This force is P. Okay, and this force is P. Okay, and we have to calculate the magnitude of slope at B. Okay, so this is L. The options are given, and this is L. Okay, options are 5 by 6 PL cube by EI, B PL cube PL square by 5 PL square by 2EI, C PL square by EI, D 3 PL square by 2EI. Now to find out slope at point B, let us apply a bending moment M is equal to 0 at point B. Okay, so that we can find out the strain energy of these two portions. Okay, the strain energy of portion BC is only due to P. Okay, that will be the moment between BC will be Px. Okay, at any distance. Okay, and x is variable 0 to L. So the strain energy will be m square EI m square by 2 EI by dx. Okay, now for the portion BC, the EI is given as infinity. Okay, the facility of the BC is going to be infinity. So the strain energy will be 0. Okay, strain energy will be 0. Now similarly, for the portion AB, the bending moment is Px plus M. Px plus M. Okay, so UAB is equal to so the strain energy will be equal to Px plus M square divided by 2 EI. Okay, so putting a limit 2L into L. Okay, so it will be, this is the strain energy. So because this is 0, the total strain energy is equal to this. Okay. Now we have to find out the slope. Now differentiate this u with respect to m. Differentiate this u with respect to m to find out slope according to Cauchy-Euler theorem. Okay. So if we differentiate it with respect to m, then we will get 2px plus m divided by 2 divided by 2 px plus m divided by ei. Now uh, put m is equal to 0. Okay. Now put m is equal to 0, we will get px by ei. Px by ei. Okay. Because m is used for m is introduced for the differentiation. Okay. Now differentiation has been done, so we can put m is equal to 0. Okay. So now the limit is L to 12, so px by ei. Okay. So uh, performing integration and putting the limit 12 by L. Okay. We can have 3 by 2 pl square by ei. So option B is the right answer. Slope at B is 3 by 2 pl square by ei. Next, determine the correctness or otherwise of the following assertion A and reason R. Assertion A. Efficient columns are designed so that most of the column cross-section area is located as far away as possible from the principal circular axis of the section. Reason: load carrying capacity of column will increase as the moment of inertia of cross-section increases. Option A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct reason for it. Option B. Both A and R are true and but R is not the correct reason for A. C. Both A and R are false. D. A is true and but R is false. Okay. So we know that for pin jointed the critical load is pi square EI by L square. Okay. Now the load will be if other things are same. Okay, the load will be more if I is more, and if I is more, then the cross section area is located far away from the central axis. Okay. Then we can have I a large quantity. So now p is that equal to I. So both uh, assertion and reason are true because efficient columns should have their area far away from the control axis, and due to this reason, due to this assertion, the load will the load carrying capacity of the column will be more. Okay. So answer is your A. Next, consider the structure consisting of two members. Sorry. Consider the structure of consisting of two massless elastic bars AB and BC, each of length L, cross-section area A, and Young's modulus E. Connection A Connections at A, B, C are all pinned. A horizontal force P acts on joint B as shown. Calculate the horizontal deflection of joint B. So this is joint B, this is A, this is C, and load P is being applied. Okay. Now to find out the horizontal displacement of B, we have to find out the displacement of AB and the displacement of BC, and then uh, get horizontal component. Okay, so that will give the net displacement of B. Okay, now let PAB be the force in AB due to P, and PBC is the force in BC due to P. Okay, so balancing these forces balancing these forces and using Lami's theorem. So here this angle will be 90. So P divided by sin 90, and this angle, the angle in front of PAB will be 135, or so PAB by sin 135, and sin 135 is equal to sin 45. Okay, so PAB will be your P by root 2. Okay, now PAB and PABC will have the same magnitude because angle in front of P and angle in front of PBC is same. Okay, so PAB and PBC are same. So now the extension of road AB due to PAB is P by root 2. L by AE. Okay. Similarly, the extension due to extension of RBC is equal to EA. Okay. Now their horizontal component will be cos 45. Okay. So the extension is this. Okay. AB is this. And similarly for BC is this. Same. Okay. So the horizontal component will be cos 48. And then we can get answer as horizontal displacement of point B is PL by A. Okay. So answer is B. Next. A rigid bar ABC of mass m and length L is hinged at A and has a point mass m attached to C. An elastic spring with linear stiffness K is attached at B as shown. Ignore the effect of gravity and damping. The natural frequency of small oscillation of this system is. So this is the uh, spring stiffness. Okay, sorry. This is a spring attached at B, and this is mass M. This is uh, the rod of small mass M. Okay, small mass M. Okay, and we have to find out the natural frequency. Now, to find out the natural frequency, let us deflect this bar by angle theta. Okay, then the torques acting on the bar will be due to inertia torque due to this mass, that is ml square theta double dot. Okay, and inertia torque due to this load, that is I theta double dot or ml square by 3 theta double dot. Okay, and due to this force acting on the spring is ml 2 by theta. Okay, that is force, and this about this is angular 2, this is torque. Okay, so the taking moment about hinge, we'll add all these three. Okay. So this is the equation. Now taking the coefficient of theta double dot ml square plus ml square by 3 plus kl square by 2. Okay, by 2 theta. Okay. So omega n is equal to kl by 2 square divided by ml square plus ml square by 3. Okay. So omega will be your 3k 4 4 this 4 3m plus m. Option B is the this option B is the right answer. Next, a beam of flexor rigidity EI is fixed at A and supported by a linear spring of stiffness K is equal to EI by L cube at B. Determine the compressive force done in the spring when the beam is subjected to uniformly distributed load of W per unit length. Okay. So this is your W per unit length, and this is spring. Okay, and this is the fixed length. Okay, this is the EA. Okay, so the deflection of the spring will be will cause a force in this beam also. Okay, let the deflection of the spring is due to P, and then the opposite force P will act on this beam also. Okay, so the force acting on this beam is W uniform distributed load, and P the spring force acting on this beam. Okay, and reaction of this compression. Okay, so the deflection due to this W is WL 4 by 20 4 EI, and deflection due to P is with PL by 3 I. So this is upward deflection, this is downward deflection. So difference of these two is the WL 4 by 24 EI minus PL2 by 3 EI, and it will be equal to uh, P by K. Okay, so it will be equal to P by K, because the force used to compress the spring is P, and its deflection is P by K. So now K is your EI by L cube. Okay, K is your EI by L cube. Okay, putting the value PL cube by EI, WL 4 by 24 EI minus PL cube by 3I. Now Now we can have P in terms of W. Okay, so that will be solving it out. We get P is equal to 3 by 32, and then option A is the right answer. Next, the bar AB is fixed. The bar AB is fixed at A and is separated by a gap of 0.005 mm from wall at C, as shown. The temperature of the bar is increased by 10 degrees Celsius if the Young's modulus of the bar is E is equal to 200 GPa and the coefficient of thermal expansion is alpha is equal to 10 to 10 minus 6 per degree Celsius. Then the magnitude of the compressive force, compressive stress in MPa developed in the bar is, so this is A and this is B and this is the bar. Length is 100 mm, gap is 0.005 mm, E is just 200 GPa. So if there is no restriction to this expansion, then the free expansion will be alpha delta L, and alpha is your 10 to 10 power minus 6 into 10 into 10 into 100. Okay, that is 10 power minus 2 mm. Okay, but there is restriction of 0.005 after 0.005 mm expansion. So the expansion restricted is 10 power minus 2 minus 0.005. Okay, or 0.005 mm. Okay, now this is your restricted strain divided by this length is your compressive strain. Okay. Now we have compressive strain as this dimension we have 100. Okay. So the compressive stress is your compressive strain into E. Okay. So that is 10 MPa. So answer is your 10 MPa. Okay. Next. A thin walled spherical vessel has a mean radius 1000 mm, wall thickness 10 mm. Material has Young's modulus 200 GPa and Poisson's ratio 0.25. If the internal pressure is 100 MPa, the radial displacement of spherical pressure vessel rounded off to two decimal places. Here the longitudinal and circumferential stress in case of spherical vessel is same, that is equal to 2 to the 40. Here diameter is 1000 into 2 and thickness is 10, and where P is where 100 MPa and E is where, sorry, and so this is your sigma and sigma theta. Okay, and both these stresses are tensile in nature, so the hoop strength will be epsilon theta sigma theta by E minus mu sigma L by E. Okay, so this is your circumferential strain, and circumferential strain is change in circumference by circumference or del D by D. Okay, or del R by R. Okay, now putting the value PD by 2T E, PD by 40 minus mu PD by 40, or putting the value mu is equal to 0.25 and R is equal to 1000. Okay, and T is equal to 10. Okay, by putting the given values, we can find out del R as 18.75 mm. Okay, next, a particle of mass m 100 kg is released from rest and falls under gravity through a height h is equal to 1 meter directly onto a upright massless elastic bar of length L is equal to 200 mm. Young's modulus 200 GPa and cross-sectional area 100 mm square. Assume the following during impact. The particle mass sticks to the bar. B. Particle, sorry, the bar does not buckle. C. No energy is lost. Okay. Use gravitational acceleration G is equal to 10 meter per second square maximum axial compression in of the bar due to impact rounded up to 3 decimal places is So as the mass is falling from height h and it is striking the bar, okay. So and there is no buckling involved in this phenomena, and mass of the bar is decreasing. Okay. Now then what should happen? The as mass is falling from height h, okay. Then let x be the then the compression will occur. Okay. Let x be the compression of the bar. Then the height which is lost by the mass m is h plus x. Okay, so its potential energy is being lost, and as though no energy is being lost, so this potential energy is converted into strain energy of the bar. Okay, so the potential energy lost is mgh plus x. Okay, now let uh, x be the compression of the bar, and if we apply a gradually apply load on the bar, then the P load is causing the same extension that is caused by this falling weight. Okay, so the state energy stored in the bar is P into x by 2. Okay, so here P is the imaginary load which is acting gradually to cause extension, compression x. Okay, now for x, in terms of P will be P by A stress into stress by E strain into L. Okay, so now putting the value of P, so AE by 2L x case. Okay, AE by 2L x case. Okay, so mgh plus x AE x case by 2L. Okay, okay, now we have m as now putting the values we can find out x. Okay, we have all the values. M is 100 kg, G is equal to 10, H is equal to 1 meter, and A is equal to 100 by 1000 square meter square. E is equal to 200 to 10 power 9. Okay, L is equal to 200 by 1000 meters. Okay, so we have all the values. Okay, now put these values and find out x. A quadratic equation will be formed. Okay, you can solve this quadratic equation, and the value of x will be your in meter. It is 0.00448 meter, and x in mm it is 4.482 mm. Okay, okay. So next question number 18. A pin jointed truss has a pin jointed truss has a pin support at A and roller support at C. All the members are made of same material and have the same cross section. Neglect self weight of the members due to applied loading. Shown the total number of zero force member is okay. So this is the truss. Okay. Now, first of all, we here the roller support is given and here the fixed support is given. So the reaction here will be vertical and here the reaction will be both vertical and horizontal. Okay. So taking moment about A. So then as there is one unknown, we can find out RP. So it will be P into 3. Okay, and this will be P into 3. Okay, so and minus RC into 6. Okay, so from this RC will be 0. So there is no reaction here. Okay, so it means the proton member EF and all these members will be 0 as we find. Okay. Now, now we have RC 0. Now balancing vertical forces. So RV plus RC is equal to this P. So RV is equal to P, and RH will be equal to this P. Okay, RV is equal to P, RH is equal to P. Okay, so at point A, this RV is P, RH is P. Okay, and this force is P. Okay, and this force is P. Okay, now at point A, the resultant of these two RV and RH is root 2p. So it means the reactions at uh, in member AE is root 2p because there is reaction, so there will be some action also. Here P is acting, here P is acting, and reactant of this P and P will be root 2p. So it means the AE is subjected to AE is subjected to a compressive force of root 2p. Similarly, now this P is acting is a load acting, and this P will also act. Okay, okay. So reaction of this force will be due to this. Okay, will be P. Okay, and here P is acting, so reaction will also act. Okay, uh, of this. Okay, reaction of this. Okay, so in member A E, the P will be force. Okay, and in member in this member the force will be P, that is tensile, and in this there will be tensile force. Okay, and resultant of this will this. Okay, there will be compressive force. Okay, and there will be no force in this member. Okay, because this force has been used here. Okay, okay, and this is balanced by this. Okay, so in member AB there will be no force. Okay, and in all the other members, in this member, 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 there will be no force because RC is zero. So there will be no force to balance this force, balance any of forces. Okay. So number of non-zero force number is EF one. This is BF two. This is BC three. FC four. TD five. Okay, and sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here it is 7. So number of non-force member are 7. Okay, okay, uh, okay. Number of non-force member are 7. Next, two beams AB and BC having diameter of 100 mm are connected by an internal hinge at B. So this is internal hinge. Okay. The structure is fixed at A and roller supported at C. Load of P is equal to 1 kilonewton is applied at B, ignoring the effect of any transverse shear stress. Uh, the tensile stress in MPa developed at A due to bending rounded off to 3 decimal places. So here this is pin jointed and here pin joint, and this is load P kilonewton 1 kilonewton. Okay, and this is roller support. This is fixed support, and so now we can replace this roller support by reaction RC and fixed support by moment and fixed end by moment and reaction RA. Okay. So to find out RC, taking moment about hinge, so taking from this right hand side, RC into 1 will be 0. So RC is 0. Okay. Now from this left hand side, it will be RA into L. Okay, as a global MA is minus MA. So RA minus, RA will be equal to MA will be equal to RA. So as RA is as RC is 0, so RA is equal to P. So RC is your 1. So RA is your 1. So as RA is 1, so MA is your 1 kilometer, 1 into 1. Okay. So now we have MA. MA is your we let us see it again. RC into 1 is equal to 0. RC is 0. Okay. Now RC plus RA is equal to P. So RA is equal to P because RC is 0. Okay. Now taking moment of hinge. Okay. RA into 1 minus MA. Okay. Yeah. Or MA into RA minus RA into 1. Okay. So RA is equal to MA. RA is just 1. Okay. MA is just 1. Okay. So this is your MA. Okay. MA is just 1 kilometer. Okay. Now using bending equation, MA by I sigma by Y MA by pi by 64 into D4 and sigma by D by 2. Okay, so sigma is equal to 32 MA pi by D cube. Okay, now MA is your 1 kilometer meter. So putting the value of MA and D is your 100 mm. Okay, and so putting the value you will get sigma as 10.1859. Okay, next the shear force diagram for a BAD, which is simply spotted at A and B, is shown. The magnitude of maximum bending moment is rounded off to 3 decimal places. So this is your shear force diagram. Here 15 kilonewton load is acting vertically down upward, and then there is gradual decrease in load. Okay, and here 5 kilonewton load is the shear force. Okay, here we can see that uh, the vertical upward force is 50 kilonewton, so reaction is here 50 kilonewton, and here the reaction is with 5 kilonewton, and here you can see that the shear force is varying gradually, so it is varying from 15 to minus 5, so it is 20 kilometer meter in 1 meter distance, so it is the UDL of 20 kilometer per meter. Okay, so its loading diagram can be drawn like this: 50 kilometer, 20 kilometer, and this 1 meter, this is 1 meter. And we can see that the shear force is changing its sign at point B, so bending moment will be maximum at point B. So M max at point B will be 15 into that distance is 0.75. Okay, 0.75 minus 20 into 0.75 square by 2. Okay, so M max will be equal to 5.625 kilonewton. Okay, next, a rectangular thin plate with Young's modulus 200 GPa and Poisson's ratio 0.3 subjected to uniform stress distribution at its edges as shown. However, it is stated that the dimension B of the plate does not change under the action of stress components sigma xx and sigma yz. Considering micro strains in 10 to the minus 6, the change in length of dimension A in mm round off to 3 decimal places is. Here it is given that sigma x is 200 MPa and sigma y is not given. This A dimension is given as 200 mm and B dimension is given as 100 mm. As it is asked that it is given that the change in dimension in B is 0. Okay, so the strain in B dimension is sigma y by E minus mu sigma x by E. Okay, sigma y by E minus mu sigma y x by E. Okay, so this dimension is 0, this change is 0. So this is sigma y by E minus mu sigma x by E. Okay, so by this we have sigma y is equal to mu sigma x. Okay, mu is your 0.3 and sigma x is your 200. Okay, so that is equal to 60 MPa. So sigma y is your 60 MPa. Okay, sigma y is your 60 MPa. Now we have sigma x as 200 MPa, sigma y as 60 MPa. So change in A is change in A by A is sigma x by E minus mu sigma y by E. Okay. So sigma x is your 200. Sigma x is your 200, and sigma y is your 60. Okay. So E is your 200 GPa, okay, and A is your 200 mm. Okay. Now putting the values we can get delta A, that is 0.182. Next, this is also a fill in the blank question. Answer is 0.182. Next, a solid transmission shaft has length 10 meter and diameter 100 mm. The shaft is supported by frictionless bearing at the end and that act as simple force. Okay. In addition to its self weight acting as a uniformly distributed load per unit length and operational torque 5 kilonewton meter is applied. The density and yield strength of the material are 8,000 kilogram per meter cube and 350 MPa respectively. Use gravitational acceleration as 10 meter per second square and ignore the effect of transverse shear stress. The factor of safety of the shaft as per maximum shear stress failure theory plus का criteria is rounded up to 2 decimal. Okay. Now it is given that the weight of the transmission shaft is acting as UDF. Okay. So the weight of the shaft per unit length is rho g into area. Rho is just 8,000 and g is your 10 and area is 5 d scale in 100 by 1000 scale. Okay. So that is your 205 Newton per meter. This 205 Newton per meter. Okay. The reaction is 1000 pi, sorry, 100 pi, and here it is 2000 pi. Okay. It is 2000 pi. Okay. It will be 200 pi. Okay. Okay. Now the calculation will be right after this. Okay. Now this calculation is according to W. Okay. This is W by 2, W by 2. Okay. So maximum moment will be RA will be at midpoint. So RA into L by 2 minus WL square by 8 minus WL uh, WL here by WL by 2 into L square by L by 2. Okay. At a we have to find out at a L by 2. So total load will be WL by 2 into L by 4. So it will be WL square by 8. Okay. Or we can climb the formula that is the maximum bending moment is in case of UDL is WL square by 8. So it is 2500 pi Newton meter or 2.5 kilometer meter. Okay. Now the torque is also being transmitted from this. That is 505 kilometer meter. Okay. So the equivalent torque is your as we have to design according to the vector shear stress theory. So we have to calculate the equivalent torque. So that is this is your betting moment. This is torque. So equivalent torque is m square plus t square root. Okay. So answer so T is 5.595 kilometer meter. And according to torsion theory, according to torsion equation, we have T by J so tau by R. So T is 5.595 into 1000 or 5 into 1000 cube into 16. Okay. R is your R is the radius is also given. There is diameter is your 100 mm. So R is your 100. Sorry. Diameter is your 100. Okay. So using torsion equation, we can we have this next. Okay. So using torsion equation, we can have tau is equal to 89.44 MPa. Okay. So that is the shear stress. But according to Tresca theory, the uh, shear yield stress is sigma yield by 2. Sigma yield is given as 350 MPa. Okay, so sigma, so tau yield is your 175 MPa. So the factor of safety is your tau yield by tau, so 175 by 89.44. That is 1.95. Okay, so answer is 1.95. So this is all about the paper of 2020. Thank you.